News was just announced that WNBA TV ratings are down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark's injury. And it was also reported that the Indiana Fever television viewership is also down over 53%. Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA.
The WNBA has received a major reality check. Without Caitlin Clark, this feels like a never-ending Netflix buffer. The playoff ratings did not simply drop. They completely plummeted. Imagine your phone dying at 1% at midnight. Fans are not even watching. They're either dozing off or quickly switching channels. Are they gone, or are they watching pickleball? The playoffs have been filled with turmoil, rivaling a reality TV reunion.
Guys, today, is there any chance that the WNBA, that Kathy Engelbert saw some of the ratings that I'm about to show you now and said, hey, Indiana Fever, can you do us a favor? Can you do us a solid? Can you just tease a Caitlin Clark return, kind of boost these up a little bit? Can you just dangle a Caitlin Clark return in front of the fans' faces, try to boost these ratings up a little bit? There was one matchup that this league can consistently rely on to produce massive viewership number.
The WNBA was expected to have a breakthrough season this year, the moment when they take the spotlight and demonstrate their true competitiveness. However, it appears that the entire league has been entirely defeated, as if they have fallen into a gigantic bowl of nachos. They attempt to justify their actions as part of a larger strategy.
What a shocker! Imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when Uncle Casey found out that the WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark. To make matters worse, and this is something I have definitely noticed in the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially since the All-Star game, the WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain interest.
Let us be honest with each other here. The WNBA season has been both spectacular and disastrous. The basketball game lacked quality, with numerous injuries and questionable foul calls from the refs. Additionally, the commissioner dismisses player health as a mere suggestion. Caitlin Clark's ankles became public property, and defenders treated her like a human crash test dummy, leading many to turn off the TV.
When I think about Caitlin Clark, the operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude. There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport.
How was the attendance for Team USA in the Olympics? What would it have been like if Caitlin Clark was playing on that team? Remember the first game? Look at this right here. National broadcast viewership. What are we talking about here? 1,000, what is that? 1.219? Is that the number? And the game afterwards got 485,000. So the Fever in their game against the Minnesota Lynx was 1.219 million.
This season has left supporters wondering if the league may collapse before the playoffs, indicating a dire situation. Here's the spoiler. It barely holds on. A small strip of duct tape shouts, "Please ignore how terrible this is."
The WNBA's black superstars should thank their lucky stars. For the record ratings, Caitlin Clark is detonating, even if new fans are mostly white fans. It doesn't matter what color eyeballs are. But the other day, I must admit, it hit me like Katie Bell Henderson telling me that's enough. I told myself it's not racist for me to like Caitlin.
What about this season's poor officiating calls? The referees appear to have been grabbed from a mall food court during lunch rush. One of them may be nibbling on a slice of pizza while deciding on a bold act. Someone appears to have mistakenly signed up to officiate a roller derby. The consistency falls in between a fortune cookie and a magic 8-ball. In one game, a tremendous shove means nothing. During the next game, a player was expelled for sneezing too forcefully. If these referees had their own stat line this year, they would have 0 turnovers and make poor decisions on every possession.
The WNBA has a problem, and that problem is Caitlin Clark not playing in WNBA games. Now, what all does this affect? The ratings are plummeting. Guys, there's ratings for a couple of these games that are eye-popping.
This year's WNBA appears to be more like an orthopedic surgeon's Christmas wish list than a basketball league due to numerous injuries. Caitlin Clark has spent more time healing than playing. Defenders often treat her as if she owed them money. Every time she tries to drive to the hoop, it feels like a new episode of How Hard Can We Smash Caitlin Before the Ref Notices? The answer is more difficult than expected. The basketball apocalypse affects more than just Clark. Sophie Cunningham was portrayed as a rising star and poster child for the future. She's now out for the full season. She appears to be waving from the injury list, as if she were in a new play called Sophie's Torn Something. The commissioner's office seemed relieved. We're relieved to have one less star player to sell properly. If Sophie's injuries wasn't enough, Angel Reese simply said, "You know what? I'm out." She quit in the middle of the season. In the WNBA, it appears to be a reflection of the league rather than a surprise. If the commissioner can't keep things moving properly, the refs are acting like clowns, and athletes are dropping like flies, it's understandable for someone to leave. Reese likely chose to spend her time on Instagram rather than risk being tackled in a game similar to an NFL tryout.
That's not a trend that the WNBA is excited about. That's a trend that Kathy Engelbert would say, hey, Fever, hey, Lynn Dunn, hey, Kelly, hey, Amber, can you guys start dangling that Caitlin Clark return like you used to do? You know, before Caitlin Clark gave a statement and you guys were hands off. Can you guys, just string them along a little bit more? We want to get these ratings back up. We want to get these numbers.
Here is the thing. This is not happening in a vacuum, correct? For years, the WNBA has urged fans to take them seriously, give them the attention, and consider them as more than simply an afterthought. The league isn't doing itself any favors. The commissioner appears to have no regard for player protection. Enforcing regulations and protecting stars seems like a bold notion. Imagine if the NBA allowed LeBron James to get body checked on every possession without calling a foul. The league would disintegrate faster than a low-cost camping chair. However, in the WNBA, it is just another Tuesday night. In terms of ratings, the comedy shines through. During Caitlin Clark's early season performance, the numbers increased significantly. People tuned in to see if the hoopla was true. The days before Clark's accident were beautiful. ESPN suddenly pretended to care. SportsCenter aired highlights, and Twitter users assumed they understood pick and rolls. After her departure, the show's ratings plummeted quicker than Angel Reese's desire to complete the season. The WNBA's marketing strategy revolves around a single player, while their refereeing strategy focuses on allowing her to be physically abused. Some supporters may claim that injuries and fouls are unavoidable during a hard spell in the game. But this is more than just bad luck. This is truly awful leadership. The commissioner has taken a passive approach, similar to a substitute teacher who has lost control of the classroom. Instead of addressing issues, the league continued to ignore them. Star players are dropping out. That's okay. Referees make games unwatchable. Fans will stick around. Spoiler alert, they did.
At Indiana against the Chicago Sky, right after that game, they opened an investigation once again into the fans, where they found nothing, but the damage had already been done at that point. If some of these things happen just one time here and there, or there's one certain media personality who's just always saying these kind of things, then whatever. I feel like fans as a whole can be like, okay, whatever, this person is just a hater. But this is something that has happened over and over and over again, and over time, it starts chipping away at how much you're going to actually care and want to support an organization if they continue to do things like.
Players who remain healthy are forced to play sports that resemble rugby and professional wrestling, rather than traditional basketball. Sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between playoff games and WWE SummerSlam. You can expect someone to grab a steel chair at any time. Meanwhile, the commissioner continues to promote the league's growth and momentum through interviews. Yes, sure. Wearing high heels increases my height. Instead of protecting their stars, they allowed the season to spiral into turmoil. Cunningham is no longer available. Reese quit. Clark suffered severe injuries. The playoffs feel more like a remembrance of missed opportunities than a championship run. Unfortunately, the players deserve far better. Despite the collapse of the system, these women continue to give their all. Referees who whistle like they're at a toddler's birthday party are unworthy of their position. Leadership should prioritize their health, not consider it as an afterthought. They don't deserve a league that just promotes them when it's convenient and then drops them. The second phase is challenging, but we are here. The WNBA season is coming to a close. Ratings are circling the drain. Fans are concerned about the league's long-term viability when key players are injured. Congratulations on your expected growth season. The situation spiraled out of control.
This Caitlin Clark thing, man, I mean, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing what you guys have done. And then people are catching on to your tactics. You got the people on Twitter catching on to your tactics. Like, look at this right here. Look at this right here. They say ESPN didn't want to show the ratings were down from WNBA All-Star Game because Caitlin Clark did.
Perhaps next year, the commissioner will prioritize player safety. Referees may learn what constitutes a foul. Caitlin Clark and other stars may be able to complete a season without having to retire prematurely. However, the NBA is at a critical juncture. This is not due to a lack of interest among supporters. This is due to a lack of leadership commitment. The WNBA expected record-breaking ticket sales this year. This was the year when stadia were full and people lined up outside like it was a new iPhone release. Instead, empty seats reverberate louder than any referee's whistle. You can easily fit your complete family, dog, and neighbor's hamster in a row of seats with ample legroom. The league once acted as if this was part of their agenda. Without Clark, Cunningham, or drama, WNBA ticket sales plummeted like a Jenga tower during an earthquake. The league continues to attempt to spin the situation, which is quite amusing. Social media posts appear normal. According to reports, the WNBA had another entertaining night of action. Meanwhile, admirers in the comments say, "Exciting where? Which game? What dimension?" Memes showing tumbleweeds moving across vacant seats dominate the answers. When your marketing tweets become a source of amusement for followers who have lost hope, it's a poor sign.